So, starting where I left off here. So again, the hope would be we provide this to the publishers, they get corrected, we get some visibility into it, and we can track it and say, all right, here's how your correction is progressing, and ultimately confirm that it's been fixed and printed, and then we give credit to the user. So that all ties back into what the user is rewarded with, or how they're incentivized if they come and sign up to the site and say, okay, this is what you can be a part of. So with this model, this is kind of an expanded version of it. So this is sort of what we're hoping to see in the future, but we are seeing a little bit to some extent. It conveys sort of the same message, but it's a little more detailed and includes how publishers and authors tie into it. So as you see, central to this slide is the crowd again. Typos come from the crowd. The crowd validates them, provides more information than just, yes, it's a typo, it's not. They say, okay, here's why typos get fed into our site, and then hopefully it perpetuates this awareness, and people keep coming back because of the incentives. And then authors here interact directly with readers on the community, and Hiro has an example later in the presentation just discussing, for example, if we have two users who are debating what the message was from the author, and assuming that they're still alive and it's a fairly new book, we'd hope that one day the author could participate and give their thoughts, and it'll be, today we really don't know what they may want, what they were intending to say, but hopefully one day we could have them in real time come back and say, yeah, this is what I was trying to say, or maybe part of the story or part of the purpose of what they said was meant to be ambiguous. But again, we envision that sort of interaction taking place one day when we involve authors. And then this is sort of reiterate what the service or the offering we would have to publishers is we would provide this typo tracking and some statistics. They could know things like, all right, well, we have these typos in our books. How often did they get reprinted? Things like that. What's our quality statistics? So some of those things could be answered with the metrics we provide and that we gather from the community. And then perhaps it could be a marketing channel. Again, the whole social network side of the site exposes other people to books. We have an option for people to get alerts if they are, if one of their friends or if the general community submits a new typo to a book or submits a review, you get an alert and say, oh, check it out. Let me go on this site, see this typo is kind of interesting. Oh, this book seems kind of interesting, and it has a brief synopsis of the book. So we could probably spin that, the marketing side of it to these publishers, sort of to convince them, hey, let us provide you this thing, and all we're asking for is just confirmation that you're fixing this thing. So some of the things that I was discussing about crowdsourcing errors and our model feeds into the design of the site. So basically, when we approach this, we ask ourselves, how do we get people to come to our site? How do we get them to hang out? And how do we get them to come back? So first thing first is we need ease of use. We need the site to be easy to navigate, follow common standards, and we get them to sign up, and it's easy to sign up because we have limited fields. We don't ask for much information, so they're not hesitant to, but still some people don't. They just come in as guests. And then providing or submitting a typo should be easy, because that's the point of it. So if it's too cumbersome, then they may be like, I don't want to deal with it, open their book, type it in, this is too hard. So we thought, okay, how can we make this as easy as possible? So with Google Books, we just type in the ISBN or the author. Most of the time, the book pops up, click on it, submit the typo, send. Future is with e-readers and possibly iPad apps, things like that. You're reading something on an e-reader, and you highlight the word. A pop-up says, copy, paste, or submit the typos, and you just send it off, and it all happens in the background. That's way down the road, but something we envision. And then again, they have the option to just come into the site and submit typos right away. You don't need to sign up. We don't need any information. So we trust the community that they're not going to just submit junk. And I think we only had one instance of where someone was just ranting about some book, and it wasn't really a typo. We get those alerts on our phones, so we have admin rights, and if that happens, we erase it right away. It was pretty profane, actually. So then the look and feel, all again, it ties into the usability, intuitive navigation, like I mentioned, familiar colors, stuff that doesn't really, it's easy to look at, is essentially the message there. And then keeping the content fresh, again, with blogs, and things that people could read. When you come to the site every day, things should update so that, it's not something they've read before. And then the overall user experience, when you come to the site, you could come and do stuff like validate other submissions, again, participate in social learning. Actually, I didn't mention that, but that ties into some things that Andy Rooney was saying about textbooks. And if we're successful in getting people to submit information on textbooks, then it could be used as a reference. If someone's using the same textbook, for example, in our cases when we were dealing with a lot of technical, we were reading a lot of technical textbooks in school, a lot of the solutions in the back we would find are incorrect, and we'd be spinning our wheels to back into those answers, but the whole time we were right. And it would have been nice at the time to find someone else in another school reading that book and say, hey, what's this real answer? Is this true? Are you guys getting this answer? Because I'm not. And they said, and then you could come in and say, no, this is actually an error. So we were hoping for it to be a resource, even if textbook publishers aren't going to fix it, but it could be something that someone could use to reference the correct answers provided by the community. So that's what we envision for the concept of social learning. And then receiver ranking means, you'll see it on the website, we rank our users on a monthly basis of who submits the most, kind of to make it a game. And it gets fun, and I think some of our users really watch that stuff, because I'll be noticing that someone's about to get overtaken as #1 on the site and then slam us with 10 typos or 30 typos like they're just collecting them. So it's kind of funny to see that. So that kind of brings up or conjures up that competitive spirit in people. So when we started this, a big thing for us was like, okay, what does a logo look like? So first we just registered the domain name, because we all agreed we like that, the way it's spelled, we like the Z in there. And it's phonetic and it's a typo in itself. And we thought, okay, so we came up with some ideas. Like, okay, the first one was like, let's get a typewriter, key in there somehow. And that was mine, actually. And a couple of the guys I was working with, like, that's old, they just thought, we want to give this a Web 2.0 feel. So then it kind of drove that design there. And I was like, it's a little, it just looks funny, And then, we said, okay, let's combine it. Here's a typewriter, font, and Web 2.0 at the same time, all big. And I was just like, we just weren't feeling it. We were kind of at a loss with that. And then I think this is one of the early ones where we included the tagline, which we were also debating for a while, and I think we're going to change it again. But this was one of the earlier ones that had both. And we all ended up not agreeing to any of this, and it probably is more similar to this one here. So the final logo, as you've seen on the bookmarks, is this. So then we thought we were really clever by crossing that out, and then we realized, like a lot of people that, like the co-authors of The Great Typo Hunt, I noticed their book, they did the same thing. By the way, there's typos in their book, and they know about it. They're fixing it. So, I don't know. We're not really, Hiro and I were just discussing this in the last few days, that we want to maybe change that, because we thought at first, okay, we got to be profound, and we thought, you know what, let's just say what it is, and we might just change it to typos.com, report typos in books. Why not? Oh, I'm sorry. Does anyone have a question?
Oh, I just wondered if you considered changing the word one world at a time. That would be too confusing.
Yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, one word at a time?
Changing the word one world at a time.
Oh, yeah, we did actually, that did come up early on. But I don't know whatever happened to that. But yeah, that was a good one that we considered. We do mention it in the About section of our site, when we try to say, oh yeah, come into our site, help us change the world one word at a time. So we do say it there.
Oh, but no, I'm reversing the words. Changing the word one world at a time.
Oh, changing
So
the...
people have to look for the typo.
Ah, that's a good...
I mean, I like what you have here, but...
Interesting. Yeah, write that down. Sorry, I misunderstood. Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, maybe we will stick